Okay, nice in foliage normal, hopefully. As I was saying, I might go out to Bunnings and see if the fly trap season has begun. Get a few fly traps I can debauch and do a few experiments on. So I'm feeling a little bit more confident now. I've done it with the Sarracenia, and but as I said, it just needs more work. I've got to, you know, see if the bubbles are linked to the nitrogen fixation, you know, or is it a case of you get more bubbles, you get less nitrogen fixed. So I've got to actually go the other way and, you know, find a way of shutting down the bubbles and getting more nitrogen or something like that. Or is it a combination of they both come off together? So, you know, studying the bubbles not only will lead us into like a battery or something like that, it also lead us into better growth with the CPs in general. Yeah. And is that what grows the cyanophyta? It's actually hard, because if you notice with all the cyanophytas that you see at all the university setups, they always have a bubble going in there. Everyone thinks it's CO2, but I suspect it might actually be flammable gas, you know, which is a really, you know, energetic gas. So, you know, you can get a lot of growth out of a little bit of gas, you know. Whether that's the whole point with the cyanophyta, you need a flammable gas supply being continuously or continually generated in the soil, and maybe that's linked into the growth of liverworts, lichen, and our CP sort of thing, you know. So, you know, you get lichen growing on the bark of trees, whether the bark of trees is related to our coir, you know, and then coir is related to our peat sort of thing. But anyway, I can definitely generate the bubbles without peat or coir. So we can take those out of the equation basically. But I'll keep tinkering away over the summer, trying to, you know, just, as I say, gain more information, more insights, maybe get some more ins, and because I don't think the formula is going to be as complicated as it is. I think all over the years, I and other people have been going the wrong way. We've been making it too hard for ourselves. The formula is actually much simpler than you think it is, and that's why it's been so hard. The answer is just so simple that everyone sort of actually rushes past the actual answer, and that's why you keep getting these situations where you get someone who's come into the hobby and they always seem to be doing better for a while anyway than all the big names in the game, you know what I mean? It's sort of like you have these people that have had like 30-40 years worth of experience, who've been building up and growing CPs reasonably well, and then you get these little upstart newcomers that seem to do even better than they do, but then they only do it for a certain while. They're like it's almost like they get too cocky and they go beyond what they've been doing, and then they get lost, and they're back then they basically go into where everyone else or all the major growers have been. And yeah, it seems like the answer is actually simpler than it is, and most people, you know, they get their initial success, and then they go and blow it. And basically what I'm doing is going back to screw myself down, tie myself down, and find out exactly what it is, you know. Use the power of the scientific method to slowly screw in, but it's so hard. As I said, it's just so hard. It's this plugging out of the replica, soul destroying. Trying to get that situation when the cannonball bounces off the tissue paper sort of thing. Because then that tells you there is something else out there, and once you've had it happen once or twice, then you can work out why it's happening. Then you can make it happen all the time, and then you go into this then you track yourself into this alternative reality that's sitting there. It's almost like a parallel universe, you know, sitting there. And then once you're in it, you can define it And then you get the chance to tweak all the variables. So you take the outside world of nature into your greenhouse. But now you tweak everything and you have the chance, the opportunity, the good fortune to grow maybe a Sarracenia beyond the 120 centimetre natural limit that seems to be in the wild. Cephalotes, they say about 4 inches is the limit. I reckon you could get up to 6-inch pitchers, you know, using science eventually once you've worked out what's going on. Venus flytrap, natural upper limit is like 3.25 inches. I've seen plants of that from the wild. So don't tell me that's not true, because I've seen actual wild plants collected by quarantine, caught by quarantine in WA. And yeah, they had that strange odd look to them, like you've mixed the chlorophyll of grass with toothpaste. Strange, almost plastic looking, not a scary colour on them, but with trigger hairs the size of cactus spines. You could actually see the trigger hairs from 60 centimetres away. They were that prominent, they were like bloody cactus spines. So that's how big the traps were. That's how you can tell whether you've got a big plant or not. If someone's playing silly bugs with their hand in there, or they're doing odd sized pots to make it look like the plants are bigger, just look for the trigger hairs. If they're not the size of bloody cactus spines, then you know they're faking it. That's how you can tell, because as I said, you can see these trigger hairs from the other side of the walk, with a 60 centimetre walkway. Easy peasy, no glasses or anything. You could see these bloody triggers. They were like the things you get on cacti, and they were the trigger hairs. You know, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, and that was normal. Whether we can actually tweak it and get to the 4-inch size traps or something. But you know, if you get to 4-inch size traps, I reckon you could put a matchbox inside a trap. And if you're very careful, you could put a matchbox inside a trap and not have it closed, and you could take a photograph. Wouldn't that be a world-shattering photograph? I mean, surely a trap that size with a matchbox inside would be a front cover photograph on CPN or something like that. I mean, that would instantly knock anything off the front cover. I'm very sorry, we had your front cover plan, but geez, have we seen this photograph of a 4-inch size Venus flytrap trap with a matchbox inside? Well, yes, we'll see if that happens, eh? Can you knock someone else off the front cover with a picture of a Venus flytrap with a matchbox inside it, inside the trap, just to prove that it's a 4-inch trap or something? Well, whether we're going to get there, I don't know, but it's going to take a lot more work. But we're on the cusp of something, you know. We're at the very tip of the iceberg, the beginning of the CP revolution, where our hobby is going to fall into line with all the other hobbies in the basic horticultural world, you know, where we finally know what's really going on out there in the wild, and then we can bring it into the greenhouse, the proverbial greenhouse, and tweak all the variables so that we take our hobby to where all the other hobbies are, you know. So all the plants will be growing much better than they are in the wild. They're growing bigger, faster, more colourable, more robust, and yeah, that's where. And there'll be books on the library shelf that will tell you why that is so, and how it is, and how you might be able to even tweak it a little bit further in the future, because you've got this story behind it, you know, that matches out there in the real world. Something that wasn't in my library, it wasn't in my Bentley library when I was starting off. You basically got Exotica and what was the other one? Botanica and Exotica, and you had to hunt those out, and you know, you got I think you got the odd colour photograph in those, but most of it was black and white. And then you had all those odd, you know, or silhouette photographs and things of fly traps and things like that. I've still got photocopies from those days, trapped as photocopies from all those years ago. I might dig some of those out, because yes, assuming that I'll be able to dig them out. We don't have a bloody bushfire at my place, and it's totally what. Oh, that's a nice cherry red, that car. I hope the camera's going to pick that one up. But yeah, amazing. Nice. What sort of car is that? Toyota, something like that. But yeah, nice. That's a nice cherry red. I mean, normally I don't like red. I always like the cherry red and the turquoise buttons you get in lifts. They're the sort of, I like a nice, I'm starting to sound like Wallace from Wallace and Gromit. I like a nice cherry, like a 3-minute egg, you know. Anyway, enough gas bagging for the third in the Christmas special, but I was hoping that we were going to get a bit of a boost out of Finest and Pygmies that we planted there, and that was going to spur me on to go and do cleaning. But now I haven't got the frame of mind now. I don't really want to go clamming all the way up there. I might want to leave it into the beginning of early next season or something, because that's when I did actually discover the swamp. Was I went out there early on in the season, and then I went along to the next meeting and I told Donnie, I said, you know what, that swamp at the base of Mount Lofty, I found it. You know how I found it? Because when you were standing in front of it, the bloody obelisk is right down the middle of it. And you can see, you're looking up at the obelisk on the top of Mount Lofty, so that's why this is called the swamp at the base of Mount Lofty. It all makes sense, you know. So, maybe we'll do Mount Compass or I haven't been out of Tippisterus. I want to do Tippisterus. So it has Bonata listed there. So, and it also has a couple of Utrix out there, not just Dichotoma. It has one of the other Utrix. So might be able to hunt that down. But anyway, over and out for this long gas bag clip end thing. But you know, I thought I'd give you something to watch over. Like, so you can see the area off season. You see, most people come looking at the plants when the plants are growing. You don't get to see it off season, in quotes. Maybe I can put that in the title somehow. So you don't actually get to see the true Australia outside the season, and you don't get to see how drab it gets, and you don't understand that the comments that Charles Darwin made were very disparaging comments, but got to give him his due. He was nonetheless accurate, as always with Charles Darwin. I think it was always nonetheless accurate. So you know, when he slagged something off, it was dead on the money. You know, it is. From now on, it's going to go drib and drab, and it'll just be grey, green, bluey, grey, green foliage, silvery grey, green foliage. Yeah, not very. You know, not that lovely goldeny green you get of European and American sort of situation sort of thing. So, you know, dark, grey, yeah, you know, gnarly green. But then again, if you come at the right time of year, it all starts growing and you get all these lovely flowers and it all looks wonderful. So, you know, I always implore people to come at the right time to Australia. And of course that varies from east to west, north to south. You just got to contact a local basically and ask, when's the best time to come? And if they're being honest to you, if they're in southern Australia, it'll be like from the third week of May to the third week of October, whereas if you're in WA, the season's a lot longer. Yeah, so anyway, over and out for this clip. Maybe I'll make another one just driving out.